your socks! Hey!
The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast, now streaming on all major podcast platforms. A Till Valhalla Project ambassador. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast. That podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat with the crew. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? Then make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about, and if there's any way you can help us in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear, it would be much appreciated. Also, big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing some amazing things. If you don't know anything about them, go to their website. That's tillvalhallaproject.com. And if there's any way you can help them out, please do so. If you're a Marine and you're out there and you're no longer part of the Marine Corps, you're missing that brotherhood, that sisterhood, that bond, there's an organization for you. That's the Marine Corps League. That's right, the Marine Corps League. Go check it out. There's a local chapter near you. But you can go on the website, mcleague.org. Again, that's mcleague.org. Go check them out and help them get their numbers up. Same team, new mission. The Marine Corps League. A legacy of valor. Once a Marine, always a Marine. It's familiar to us all. It is that feeling you get when you see a Marine Corps sticker on a car or home proudly displaying the Marine Corps flag. We know we can knock on the door and that Marine will be there for us. Despite our many years of service to different causes, we all have that common bond. We have all earned the privilege to wear the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. The Marine Corps League is the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veterans Service organization, with detachments in 1,150 communities across the U.S. Please take a few minutes to check it out. Visit today at mcleague.org or email tribe@mcleague.org. All right, with that, I got a couple of the crew here, so we're going to go ahead and go round robin. Vic, how are you?
Good. Life is good. We got, I had a nice week at school. This coming up week is going to be interesting. First of all, we have tomorrow off. So looking forward to watching the inauguration tomorrow, of course. And then we're expecting to have the state's first snow in 5 years roll through on Tuesday. So not real sure when it's going to start snowing. It looks like it's going to be late afternoon, early evening when it might start snowing. And then it's supposed to snow through Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. I suspect we might have a half day of school on Tuesday and then out Wednesday, maybe Thursday, depending on ice. So we'll see. But it's good because I need to arrange some music. I've been my rock band is doing some tunes that have some horns to go along with it. So I need to take a little bit of a water hose to it and water down some of the horn parts so my high school kids can play it. But it's gonna be cool. So today's cigar is a new cigar that I've never smoked before. This is a Valentino Siesto 67. This is let me get back to the website. This is an Ecuadorian sun-grown wrapper, a Dominican Republic binder, and Dominican filler. But interestingly, the website says that it is woody and leathery. Basically, it's a nice medium-bodied cigar, and woody and leathery is what I like. So I'm really, really looking forward. This cigar today was sponsored by Peaceful Henry Tobacconist in Bluffton, South Carolina. Go out and check them out. Great place, great lounge. You can actually enjoy a drink while you're having a cigar. The only place we can do that in the region, not even in Georgia. So go to Peaceful Henry, check them out. Great cigars.
Yeah, I can attest to, not that cigar, but at least a cigar when I was there. But I got to visit, and man, it is a pretty cool establishment there. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to, I obviously throughout my career in the Marine Corps, being on both coasts, several duty stations, many cigar lounges, but Peaceful Henry's is the only one that I've ever been to where you can actually sit down with a drink and enjoy a cigar. Spirits. Many places offer beer and wine, but off that be able to have spirits like
Liquor.
bourbon or anything
Yeah.
like liquor is it's a whole different level. So
Is that because it's hard to get the liquor license, or
yeah. The previous they just sold their business. It's changed hands, so they're about to go through some significant changes. They're doing a whole remodel. They're putting up glass dividers in between the cigar lounge and the bar. The bar kind of has some high tables and some low chairs, so it's not real comfortable to sit and put your chair up like even with your head while you're like drinking. It's real weird. So they're going to get rid of all those tables and get lower tables, and they're going to paint and do all kinds of stuff. But they've already been bringing in a lot of high-end cigars and really appealing to the high-end cigar smoker. I even recently, actually, I mean, I've been what we call family at the cigar bar for a few years. But I just became a member. I actually just so they have cigar lockers. So I finally just got my first for my first year of having a subscription to a cigar locker. So I feel bona fide now.
Well, you are bona fide.
Yeah.
I mean, you say a cigar locker. I mean, what does that mean? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm asking. I mean, like,
no. It's a good question. So the membership. So a lot of cigar lounges do this, where they have like a VIP membership, and so you get a cigar locker. I think mine is like 20 by 20 or 18 by 18 ish, something like that. But it is the whole bay of lockers, or a whole cabinet of lockers, all humidified, and it's you have your own lock for it and all that kind of stuff. But you can keep cigars basically, or anything you want in your locker on site. And then occasionally, they they'll put some gift cigars, or promotional cigars in your locker for you. At Peaceful Henry's, the cigar membership comes with a 10% discount on everything. And then if you order boxes of 10 or more, 10 to 19, it's 15% off, and boxes of 20 or more, 20% off.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did the math, if you spend, anywhere between $4,000 and $5,000 a year there, which is, $100 a week or so ish, it pays for itself, which is, I mean, I probably spend about $100 a week there between drinks and cigars. I probably spend about $100 a week there. So I think at very least I'll probably break even.
Sorry, Vic. I almost fell out of the table there for a second. I was like, and that's a lot of backwoods and Black and Miles right there. It's like, oh,
I know, right?
I was like, good Lord.
But let's see, anything else? This particular cigar, I chose to go with what we call a crown cut. It's a V cut, but in offset by 90 degrees. I don't know if you can kind of see it there.
So you just V cut it twice? Yeah,
you V cut it twice. With a cigar this large, this is a Robusto, so it's around 50-52 by 5. But with the 50-52-ish gauge, I like a crown cut on them.
Okay.
Yep.
So it came that way, or you cut it that way?
No, I cut it this way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you kind of see it right there.
Yeah, you can see it. I just didn't know if it came that way or they did it there for you.
Oh, let's see. I don't know if whatever show. This is a V cut cutter. So yeah.
Oh, cool! Look at that.
Yep. And it will take a V. So
you don't even have to get out your pocket knife to do it. That's pretty nice.
I know, right?
I thought Vic was like the movies, the old westerns. Just rip it off and spit it out and light it. That's what I thought.
Shoot off the end. Yeah.
Ooh, smells good.
I mean, that would make sense to me. I don't know.
Nice and
Vic's
leathery.
getting excited.
Yeah. So I mean, when I was reading the reviews on the cigar, I mean, this is the cigar that I think would appeal to me. Got the woody flavors and the leathery flavor, and you can already smell it.
Smell it.
It almost smells like a new leather wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good smell. Speaking of good smells, Mike, how you doing?
Gee, thanks. Nice segue there. Yeah, man,
I've been working on my segues.
Man. You're a professional. I mean, you need to classes on that crap. Wow.
I'm something.
That's
For
good.
sure.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. My
I'm
dog had to
good.
come up here.
Yeah, you probably saw my cat stick his head in the camera there for a second too. He keeps
There he
coming up
is.
here.
Yeah. No,
Hey, doggy, what's his name?
it's Teufel.
Toyful. That's
Teufel.
right.
Teufel London. Isn't that right? He's a good boy. Yeah, he knows his name.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck it means, but yep, that's me.
He definitely doesn't know what it means because he sure ain't no devil. He's a big scaredy cat.
He's like, "Where's my old Roy? I'm hungry."
Yeah. Poor guy. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with
Oh, you're good.
my dog.
No, it's been a decent week, long week.
Yeah.
I was up in Vic's neck of the woods up there earlier
That's
on
right,
Tuesday, and been to Palatka, Florida, and
Dang.
good old stuff. You know,
Yeah, you've been all over the place.
new boss sent me a text yesterday. Our boss officially retired Wednesday, and he just texted me and
Mm-hmm.
the my truck, the truck I have now, I just got first week of December,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm already overdue for the 7,500 mile oil change on it. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you know, when are you
Hey,
get
down.
that truck?" I was like, "Yeah, well, when I get a chance to do it, I'll do it." I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he really doesn't understand what we do still.
Yeah.
He's going to be less of a doer and more of a facilitator, which in a way may be a good thing, but he doesn't understand that that's the kind of mileage we put on vehicles.
Come on. Yeah. It's a lot
the
of
last
miles.
truck I had was 2 years and 2.5 years old, and I had just shy of 250,000 miles on it.
Holy moly.
So
That's a lot of miles, man.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. Whew.
well, that's why our former boss fought for us to have what we have. As far as he's like, you know, we live in these things, so
Yeah.
you need to have. And I can't complain. I mean, work is work, life is life. You know, it is what it is. I wish I had a cigar, but I got some bourbon here. It's all good.
Yeah. I got some probably whiskey tonight, so
Probably. That's what it's called.
That's what my cup says.
Oh,
whiskey.
I gotcha.
Yeah. It does taste like whiskey.
Is it just whiskey?
It is, yeah. Well, bourbon whiskey,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying if you mix it with anything.
I put it on ice. You know?
I mixed it with ice.
Yeah. It's good to mix.
Yeah.
It's good to mix it with something. So, you know.
Do you put any water in it?
Yeah, once the ice melts down.
Gotcha.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, when we were in Ireland, we did that cruise in October 23. I was talking to a proper English gentleman, and then Irish, and he was talking, over there, in that area, whiskey is Scotch. That's what they call whiskey. We call bourbon whiskey here, but he was talking to me. He's like, "Oh, you gotta." The two of them, they were kind of having an argument, but they were talking about it, the Irish way and the English way, but they're pretty close to it. It's get you basically a rocks glass, put your whiskey in there. You don't put any ice in it, and take, basically room temperature water that has to be sitting out. So it's the same temperature, ambient temperature. And then it's funny how they do it. They're sitting there showing it, and they're like, they put their finger in it as they pour it in so they can feel it, He said,
to make sure it is.
He said, you don't want your whiskey you don't want it to burn. He said, because that ruins your night. They're both like, it ruins your night. You got to just in there, just enough to dilute it and bring down. That way you can sit there and sip and you can enjoy it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I do it at home, and I'll get a rocks glass and pour some whiskey in it, and I go to the water dispenser in the refrigerator, and of course it's ice cold. And I'm like, shh. I'm like, nah, it just doesn't taste the same. I was like, what?
You know what I discovered, and I discovered this through Jack Davis. I don't know if you guys know him, but you guys know, both of you, I think. Anyways, Jack Davis. Yeah, Jack Davis is when I was with him at the schoolhouse there, he he put his bourbon in the freezer, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh man, this is fantastic, man." And when you pour it out, it like comes out like syrup. And it's so good. It's so chilled, man. It's great. It's fantastic.
What kind of bourbon was he? What kind of was it? You don't remember?
Jim Beam Black.
Jim Beam Black.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I bought some
actually
other stuff
thickened
and
up?
did it, but yeah,
Really?
yeah. It comes out. And it looks almost like syrup. Like it's not the same
Huh.
consistency. Yeah,
Well,
it doesn't
it
freeze.
won't freeze, but
No.
yeah. Huh.
It's viscous.
Ooh,
What?
Look at you.
I said
at
it's
Look
viscous.
at you.
He's all
Big brain on
highbrow
Vic.
with his.
Oh, look at
It
He's
that.
all
has
highbrow.
viscosity, yes.
Yeah. You changed the viscosity of
It's
Look
because
at you.
it's because now he's a member of the Peaceful Henrys. He's got a box. He's up there, man. He's a
Oh, wait.
politician.
There's other good news too. I forgot.
Oh,
So
yeah, go ahead.
I have now been appointed as the chair of the operations committee for the school board.
That means all of the budget falls on you.
I mean, I guess the budget oversight falls on me. Yes.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah.
yeah. So
You asked for that, so
That is true.
I didn't really ask for the chair position, but yeah. So
Yeah. Were you voluntold?
I
was pretty much
want all
voluntold,
that,
yes.
but okay.
So so when we went through this latest round of November 7th or November 5th, we had 3 vacancies because 3 of our board members, 2 of them were retiring and one of them just decided not to run anymore. But so we had to fill 3 vacancies, and one of them was our board chair. So that night we swore in
Wow.
actually November or January 3rd, 4th, something like that. We swore in no 6th, January 6th. We swore in 3 new board members, and then we had to vote on officers immediately. So what used to be the vice chair is now the chair, who is a retired colonel. Yeah.
Okay.
So Army colonel, a tanker.
Yeah. Well, we won't hold that against him.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, he started like scheduling 1-hour meetings with all the board members. And one of the other veteran board members called or sent me a text that said, "Hey, why did he schedule a 1-hour meeting with me?" I said, I'm pretty sure it's a colonel thing. And they were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, when an officer takes over a new command, they have to have fitness report briefs or fitness. Yeah. So like, what do they expect of you? Do you know how to do your job and how you're going to be evaluated? You know, the last one obviously doesn't apply to us, but the first 2, and they were like, oh, that totally makes sense. I get it. Yeah. So I had my fitness report counseling with him this past Thursday, and he was like, hey, this is all the committee assignments. I'm on 3 different committees. But I'm chairing the operations committee, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little intimidated. There's a lot of stuff. $400 million budget, 32 schools, couple hundred school buses. I mean, it's a big deal. Yeah.
I need to know one thing. Do you get your own gavel?
No.
If you're chairing it, you don't get a gavel?
No, that's only for the chair of the board.
I wouldn't take it then.
You get your own office and desk?
Maybe, and you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I have a chime mallet at the house.
There, yeah, dude.
I'll take a chime mallet with me.
Yeah.
Quack, 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 quack. It's a little rawhide chime mallet. Quack, quack,
yeah,
quack, quack.
I like it. I like it. That's the only way I would take it. You know, that's it.
You at least got to get your own office and desk.
Yeah, not even. Yeah.
Okay.
And so out of we have 7 committees on the board, and everybody is on 3 everybody's on, I think, at least 2, some 3 committees, and every committee has at least 3 people except for operations and legislative committee, which each have 5. So I'm chairing a 5-person committee. So yeah, and one of the persons on the committee is one of our more abrasive board members, which nobody really cares for. So it's going to be interesting.
I mean, it's important to bring your gavel.
Yes.
It's the all-saying gavel, you know.
Yes. Whack.
Yeah.
Shut up. It's my
You can't hit them on the head though. You got to hit the table in front of you. You know, you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty soon.
You need to get a powdered wig too.
Oh my God.
That would be good.
Dude,
if you get a white powdered wig and show up.
You show up to your first meeting with a powdered wig and a gavel. I'd pay to see that.
I mean, if there's any more blatant way to say that I'm not taking it serious, a powdered wig and a gavel would be perfect.
I'd reelect you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Why? Well, at that point, everybody gets mad and say, "Why so serious, man? Come
yeah,
on."
yeah. Very true.
No, that's
Well,
interesting you say that, Vic. I didn't mean to cut you off, Andrew. You were saying
No,
he's
you're
a
good. Go
retired
ahead.
colonel, so of course you have to have the incoming CO and all that crap, taking over. And that's my new boss this week. He's coming up from Florida to meet the guy. It's up the other guy that's up here with us, but he's he retired as a Master Chief out of the Navy, but he was a flight crew chief and all that crap. And I don't know specifically other than what he put on his resume that all got sent to us that didn't overly impress me when I saw it, because he was bragging about all of his combat hours and all that crap. But so far, he seems like a decent guy. But he's like, yeah, we need to sit down. We need to talk about your roles and responsibilities, what the expectations are. I said, so what, you're giving me an incoming fit rep, so it's all going to be just average? And he said, looked at me, he goes, what? On the phone, it was like a FaceTime. And I was like, no, a Zoom meeting. I was like, I said, well, you're the new reporting senior, so we got to have a sit down. We got to do all this. And he goes, oh, no, we're going to sit and talk and just talk about things, and then we'll go break bread. And I said, you don't have to take me to lunch. He goes, why not? I was like, I really don't. You don't have to take me to lunch. Just we can sit there and you can tell me what your expectations are, or what my, and how this company works is it's my responsibility to tell you as my supervisor what my RR&E's roles, responsibilities, and all that are.
Oh, wow.
My responsibility to tell you what my job is. That's how they run it.
Kind of backwards, industries. Right?
Oh, absolutely. And I've fought it for 10 years now.
Yeah, I thought that's like, you have your brand new private checking in telling you this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. It was like the other night, you throw somebody in an infantry unit.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're supposed to do. I don't know. But
this is what I'm going to do.
That's what I said to him. I said, okay.
That's what I'm going to do. What are you going to do?
I said, I'll gladly take whatever you got. You need me to tell you what I do, and then you're going to tell me what not to do. Okay, that's fine. But you're not taking me to lunch.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of part of the deal, to go to lunch, break bread. And I was like, nah. Then I made a joke. I said, if you want to go to the bar afterwards, that's fine. But he was like, no, we're not doing that. I was like, okay.
That's where you get all of the good stuff taken care of.
Yeah, he didn't take that one, all that. I was like, it was a joke, dude. Okay, it was a joke. But I said, well, I even said, I was like, it was a joke, Chris. Don't worry about it. Just joke. But if you do want to go to the bar, that's fine.
There is something to that, I don't know who all has said this in the past, which I'm sure there's been a lot, but if I can't drink with you, I don't trust you. I don't know who originally said all that good jazz, but I've heard it many a time. I don't know how. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I get their point.
Yeah, I get the gist of it.
I definitely had my finish report counseling this past Thursday at a bar.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, the principal.
What'd your wife tell you?
No, the board chair.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what my wife told me? Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, sit down and shut up.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Bring a pen.
Yeah, bring a pen.
Let me get my skill craft out.
Very nice.
My 5.56 skill craft.
Yeah. Nice. Well, it's just three of us this go around. Did you guys happen to watch the Republican Party today?
No.
And when I say party, not like the actually Republican Party, but I mean the Republicans that threw a party for the incoming president. That was today.
I heard about it, but I didn't see it. No.
Oh man, it was cool. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I watched it maybe about half of it. But it was interesting. So here's my theory.
Yeah.
How Trump spent significantly less on his campaign than Kamala Harris did, right?
Yeah.
I think he still had leftover money because he can't run for president again.
You think he had to spend it?
I think that's
Yeah.
what
You
this
think he
was.
had to spend it all?
Yes, because you cannot
Is that
spend
what it
campaign
was?
money on anything other than campaigning
No shit.
or campaign related events. Yes. So this is a campaign related event. It
That's a
was a
good point.
rally
Yeah.
to celebrate. Yeah. So I think that's what this was. He was using the rest of his campaign money because
Interesting.
he can't use it again. Yeah.
Yeah. He had all the big hitters there, and Kid Rock, he put on a good show. I enjoyed that. I don't know. Did you watch it to the end?
Not all the way to the end, no.
Oh man, you missed out, dude. I am telling you, you got to look it up later though. Uh, it was the coolest thing ever. The Village People came out to perform at the very end.
Oh, I
Like
did see that. Yeah, and he's
the
up there on the
original
stage.
Village People, man. And I don't know, did you watch them all? Like watch them up there dancing and doing the little shindig and stuff?
There's no way that was the original Village People.
Dude, I am serious. That's what they said. It was the original Village People. And the Indian that was up there, I don't know if you saw him, man. That dude was getting it, man.
Yeah, he
I
was.
mean, he was going to town. I mean, he was by far the best dancer on the stage. I mean, next to Trump, I mean. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see them out there doing their thing. Their voices didn't get any better though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, there's no way because
No.
if they were all 20 years old when YMCA was number one in 1972, you add 52 years to that. Now they're all 72 years old, getting up there and getting it on stage.
Yeah, man.
I don't
It
believe
was
it.
him. I believe it. You got to put your faith in something, man. And I'm putting my faith in the Village People. You know what I'm saying?
The only person, the only musician that I would put my faith in for performing that old is Keith Richards.
Oh yeah, well he does it, but that's only because he's had so many drugs and alcohol that it is what is it called?
He's pretty
Petrified his
preserved.
body.
Yeah, he's
Preserved. Yeah, there you
He's
go.
pickled.
Yeah, he's pickled.
Yeah.
That he
So,
is.
yeah,
That he is.
Formaldehyde. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Anyway, it was pretty fun and interesting to watch. Me and the wife sat here and watched it all day, and I mean it was long. It was pretty long
When was it
ordeal.
on?
It was practically all day.
No, I say when did it start? Like, I mean, this
Oh.
morning or what?
Oh
No,
no,
it was
no, it
this
It
afternoon.
was like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Did you guys see the fireworks last night in Virginia?
Fireworks in Virginia.
Uh,
Yeah, so like he and Melania attended a fireworks display for him, and I mean it lasted like half an hour.
No kidding.
Yeah, but it was so weird because he and Melania were standing on a stage. Part of the fireworks display had a vocal accompaniment, and the singer was singing like 6 feet away from him, right? And it's cold as hell because you can see the singer's voice the entire time. But like Trump was just standing on stage, you know how he does with his slack arm kind of, and he's just like for like half an hour.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was so weird. And Melania's standing next to him, and she's smiling, and yeah, but he's just like, "Yep, these fireworks are for me. Yep, yep, those are fireworks." I mean, and it wasn't like one bomb off and then another one. It was like 30
Like
or
one
40
right after
going
the
off
other.
at a
Yeah.
time.
yeah, it was the
And there
finale
fire-
for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pyrotechnics and flames and all kinds of shit. I mean, it was a huge. I mean, it was like a Disney like fireworks display.
It was Disney level.
Yeah, maybe even more
Yeah.
epic than Disney if it's
Wow.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how
You know-
I would be as like him coming back
Yeah.
in, or even if I was coming in, be like, "Oh, we want to do this." I'm like, "Dude, just save the damn money." No,
Yeah.
it's like, no, we're not
I'm
doing
telling you,
this
he's got to use
crap.
that campaign money up.
That may be it. I had actually read something about that a couple weeks ago that
Well, he did so well on
Yeah.
the different social media platforms this last go round, like TikTok, for example. I mean, he did extremely well on TikTok.
yeah, that's why he wants to save it now.
Yeah, I don't blame him. But did you see? Well, I guess you didn't see it, but today he was talking about it. He's like, the United States is going to get 50% of TikTok. Like that's the only way they're going to stay alive, and have the United States in it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So I'm assuming, and by kind of what he was saying that 50% is going to go to the American people, right? Not to the government necessarily somehow, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, they make
I
a
think
lot
it's
of money.
bullshit. I think it's bullshit. Because the reason we were trying to kick TikTok out is because Chinese government had influence over the company that owned TikTok, and now the U.S. government is going to have influence over the company that owns TikTok. I mean, it's the pot calling the kettle black. It's that's not okay. That's not okay.
I agree 100% with you, Vic.
Yeah,
I think it needs to go personally, but I mean,
you know good and well that the Chinese government has already gotten all the stuff that they want from us. They already have everything they need. I mean, hell, they've been flying balloons and UFOs and everything else over our damn country, and we ain't done nothing about it.
I read an article a couple of weeks ago that China has been stealing for like the last 10 years. They've been stealing at least $2 billion a year in intellectual property, like by hacking companies and corporations and stealing their plans and their nodes. And I mean, $2 billion a year in intellectual property.
I just had to do online training this week about that exact thing, Vic.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Everybody was required to do it. And it was like a 2-hour online module. And it wasn't one you could just go next.
Oh, man, I hate those.
You know, you literally had to sit there and listen to it and read it and take each screen had questions, all these things you had to click on and talk to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it specifically said that. It didn't say China, but it said external countries.
Yeah.
Talking about
that's interesting.
You know, text messages, emails, conversations.
Yeah.
You know, now like for me to get on like my work laptop, I can log in through because I'm not in a plant or anything, so I have to use my own internet.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got to go through 3 VPN verifications to log in to anything that goes into the Georgia Pacific website or mainframe. But it all uses, it's called Ping ID, but it pings through like my work phone.
Yeah.
And I have to do it, and I've got to have I've got 30 seconds to approve it, but it uses facial recognition through the iPhone. Then I have to put in a PIN number, and then it turns around and does it again. And it's just because that's one thing that they said with Koch Industries and that they've experienced in the last several years a high volume of data being stolen, data, like you're saying, intellectual property being ripped off as far as chemical makes up, you know, like Koch Industries, who owns Georgia Pacific I work for, owns DuPont. You know, they own several other, I think it's, Mirror something or other, but they make it, you know, like adhesive coatings or certain coatings that go on like aircraft and crap like that.
Right.
And
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
But see, they're out there. They're doing their thing. They're already getting everything they want.
Yeah.
Just hope that we're getting something from them too. You know?
Well, that was one of the big things Trump said before when he was president before was, you know, just going after them and tax and tariffs and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, especially like out of here, Southwest, you know, out of Georgia, the number one crop out of here, it went away because there was nothing in it. But now that China was made to pay the tariffs on it, was pecans, however you want to say it.
So you're saying that they went?
No, I'm saying if depending where you go, you
go
say
to China.
pecans. You go to pecans. So I mean, a person, our pecans. It's like, okay, what? It's you pee in a can. What? I mean, but no, that's it. Now
we've all done it
in this area in Lee County where I live in Georgia, Southwest Georgia. When we got here in 2000, when we lived here from 98 to 2001, and then came back in 2007. I mean, there was miles and miles of pecan groves.
Yeah.
We got back, probably half of that was gone.
No kidding.
And it just continued. Farmers just started selling off the land and selling off the developers, and they're building houses.
Because they weren't making money off it.
Well, yeah, there was nothing worth. They couldn't make crap off of it. Now, after, when Trump was president, and he did all that with, they're the number one importer of pecans and peanuts from the United States because they don't have.
When you
them
say
there.
import, you're saying
they buy them from the
sending
United
them.
States and
Got
send
it.
them in. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
So all of a sudden, there's one farm. It's Georgia State Road. It's State Road 32. It comes out of where I live, and it used to be nothing but cotton fields. It's 5,000 acres of open field, and it used to be cotton fields. That entire thing now is pecan trees. Wow. In the last 5 years, that's all they've planted. As far as you can see, row after row after row after row. There's nothing but pecan trees because of the money now that they're seeing in it. So everybody and their brothers planting pecans again. But what happens when because there's a time limit on that deal. What happens when that time limit's over? It was either 10 years or 20 years
cotton,
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They'll just sit there and start bulldozing stuff over, and okay, here we are back to cotton.
Yeah. Wow.
I'll be right back.
That's impressive. All right. See ya.
I kind of knew about it, and after I started dealing with farmers and talking to farmers, they started talking about it. I'm like, hey, what's going on with that? And they're like, for a while, they're like, yeah, it was cheaper. The land was, it cost me more to produce anything. He said the land was worth more than what I was getting off of it. So we just started selling the land off. I mean, literally just bulldozing pecan trees over and just selling it to people. Literally there's acres and acres and acres just in this area that are now all have houses on them. And it was nothing but pecan trees at the time. That and peanut fields
wow. That's wild.
Yeah. And they even said too, for the longest time in the state of Georgia, the incentive for them as farmers to do anything wasn't there. You know, and that's a big thing is, people say, well, tax breaks, that's bullshit. They shouldn't get tax breaks. And they're like, we can't afford to do anything.
Yeah. They're selling things super cheap. They're the very first initial, hey, I'm selling something. So it's dirt cheap, Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not it's not the end product on a at the grocery store that you're picking up,
Yeah.
So they're selling in volume
too, and that's one thing. And I never knew this. There's a lot of people, talking with a lot of like tomato farmers, tomato growers. Is the majority of the tomatoes that you eat buy anywhere in this country come out of Mexico.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Why Mexico? Yeah. We don't grow them here?
We do, but they have a better climate that they can grow them almost year round down there.
Oh, I see.
Where, like here in the South, they can grow them in the spring and the fall. There's two seasons. You go up north, there isn't. But, when you look at, the cost, and you'll watch the, like if there's like hurricanes or bad weather go through Mexico, the price of tomatoes in the United States goes up.
Wow.
Like right now in Florida and the Tampa area, we've got a big tomato grower there. It's Damari. They used to be in South Carolina, but I think they closed that packing shed down, but they sold all the land. But there's one in outside of Tampa in Ruskin and another one in Homestead, Florida that we're in. And normally by now they're done running tomatoes. They're done in December, November.
Right.
They're still running because of the hurricane and everything. The box price for a box of tomatoes, I'm talking a box, it's like 16 by 12.
Okay.
Right now is hitting $40 a box.
Now, I don't know prices. Is that high or low?
Well, the average price normally they're lucky to break even on most of them. They need about $10 to $12 to break even on it.
Oh, okay.
if they're getting $15 to $20, they're like, yeah, we're making money. But they're making $40 a
Wow.
box. I mean, and
That's
they're
pretty
like, yeah,
good then.
and they want to run because they're like, yeah, we're trying to stay ahead. If we can get out there, we're beating the Mexico crop and all that.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it goes back and forth, and that was one big thing they were worried about with the hurricanes going through that area, even into Georgia, North Carolina. Because believe it or not, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, produces a crap ton of tomatoes.
Yeah. I love tomatoes too.
Especially for the East Coast. And when that hurricane came through, Mexico was really gambling. They're like, oh hell yeah, we got the market. We can basically charge whatever we want. And
yeah,
a lot of them were able to come back from it. And it's like, no, you can't. We're still holding on to it. So there's a lot goes into being a damn farmer and what they lose and what they gamble and how they do it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We go into some of the customers we have, and I watch what they run just in peppers and cucumbers and stuff like that. And talking, I don't talk prices, but like the sales guy we have goes in there and sells them the box that we sell them and stuff like that. I said, it was probably 2 years ago. I said, hey, so-and-so, I said, what? Because I was trying to make a point and I was pissed off about something that we were worried about specific customers, but we weren't worried about, another customer. I said, you tell me that's the priority because they're spending, it's WP Rawls and what is it that you may know? Maybe you don't ever heard of it. It's Pelion, South Carolina. Like from us, they buy $25 million worth of boxes a year.
Oh my God.
But they run year round,
I didn't realize there was that much. I didn't realize there was that much in boxes. That's a lot of
they'll
money.
run 7 days a week, 3 shifts a day. As far as greens and you go to the grocery store, when you buy your prepackaged lettuce and all that crap, that's what those companies run, and they run it year round.
I see. Yeah.
But I was like, okay, well, what that's the priority. I'm like, okay, well, they're shut this. This guy's shut down. That's a family company, but they run a ton. I was like, and I said to him, I said, what do they run? What do they run? What do they buy a year from us? And he goes, well, it's not really in your business. I said, I'm trying to make a damn point. I had my boss, the sales guy, and their boss on there. I said, I'm trying to make a damn point. I'm not going to talk to them about costs. I said, I'm just asking. And this is a family-owned farm and business, and they run. I mean, they'll run some stuff. But, sales guy said, he said, well, they spend between 10 and 12 million a year in boxes.
God.
I said, so you're complaining to me about, this other company, they're losing how much money a day if they're down. I get it in production. I said, what's their their 10 million is, this guy's equivalent of his, 2 million to him is that they're 10 million. It doesn't matter. It's just in relation, you put it into perspective. I said, so who the hell's more important? And it kind of changed some things, and they're like, well, yeah, actually you're right. We need to dedicate some things to this and to that. But I mean, when you have somebody, that's 2 million, but it's another company, say 10 or 15 million, it's the same thing to them. It might as well be 15 million at that. It's no different than you. You lose $100,000, it might as well be $1 million to you. To somebody, you know what I'm saying? It's just
It doesn't even matter, It's like, man, whatever.
Put it into perspective, But
wow.
No, it is interesting in that whole side with farmers and I the agriculture aspect. It's not even just produce and that. You're talking beef farmers.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. Yesterday we had to go into a poultry packing shed. It's like 3.5 hours northeast from where I'm at. and deal with some stuff. But if they're shut down for 6 hours because of a machine issue or a product issue,
that's big money.
well, yeah, I'm literally they're talking. They've got trailers of chickens sitting out there, dying,
Yeah,
that need to be processed
because they can't process them. Yeah,
yeah, they can't do anything with it. You're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars.
Yeah,
that they're losing. And everybody and their brother eats chicken. It goes back to the how the hell do we have this many chickens in this country for everybody to eat? This many damn chicken wings, and you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
yeah. You go those chicken farms, though, man. Those are insane, just straight up insane.
Yeah.
And man, do they stink
if you ever can, but you don't. Yeah, you don't want to. You'll go into one, but that'll be about the last time you go into one.
Pig farms too, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pig farms worse, I think, but
it makes you think twice about it. But I'm gonna be honest with you.
No,
there ain't nothing. There ain't nothing like some fried pig, man. Oh man.
Get you good ham or fried chicken or something.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I
like them pigs.
I was making a joke. I was talking to my wife about it, but I think it was just Christmas time. We were sitting here eating dinner or something like that. But there was friends over, crap like that. Family was here. He said something. It was actually a friend of my wife's that she worked with. It was her husband, and he was asking me what I do. So I was kind of trying to explain it to him. And I said, yeah, we go on to, poultry plants, stuff like that too. And he was kind of asking about all that. He said, well, have you ever seen what they do? I was like, yeah. I've gone in and watched from dumping to bagging to, how they process them. But I said, it was this past summer I had to go over there, and they had a machine they wanted us to look at. My boss was like, hey, can you go in there and look at this machine and just kind of audit it and tell me, get a list of stuff so I can give them a price quote on what it would be for us to rebuild this machine. I was like, all right. Get there, and I'm like, hey, where's this machine? And the maintenance guy's like, oh, it's in the back there by the dumping dock and all that. And I was like, all right. So he takes me back there. Well, they're bringing in these big trailers of chickens in these bins.
Yeah.
And they're unloading them, and it's just a bin. Like, I don't know how big it is, but they put them in there, and it goes this thing, and it just flips and dumps them all out. And they're, still alive, and dumps them in a thing, and they just corrals them in, and they just start snatching and hanging, But this one chicken got out. And man, that chicken,
run for it.
he was going all over the place, and I'm standing here watching that chicken, and there was probably 15 dudes chasing this freaking chicken for like 25, 30 minutes. And I was like, just let the damn thing go. Let him go, man. He got free. Just let him go. It's one damn chicken.
He worked so hard to get loose.
Oh man, he was out zigging and zagging and bobbing and weaving, and every time they thought he had him, he was like, I got you. He would go this way, running or something. And he had a beeline across the field. He was like, there's the tree line. I'm making it. He's just, that poor little chicken was going. And you see a little dirt cloud behind him. He's like, I'm going to make it. Well, the one guy, he had a dog or something. He let the dog out, and that dog's like, shoo! Got the dog, and I was like, man, seriously? You couldn't have just let him. He's like, well, if he got in the woods, he's going to die anyways. I'm like, well, at least he was free.
Yeah.
At least he died.
He enjoyed life for a couple of minutes.
At least he died a free bird. I mean, it's like, come on.
He would have made Rocky Balboa proud, I tell you.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing. I'd wish, because I didn't have my phone on, because you can't take your phones in there because they don't want you recording anything. And God, if I could have recorded that, man, that chicken was like, he was just bobbing and weaving, and man, he was.
Now, have you ever raised chickens where you had to go out and get the eggs and take them and chop their heads off to kill them? They have.
I've never raised chickens, but I've been on farms and to help do that. So yes, I know what you're.
I had, when I was young, we lived down in Poto, and we had chickens, and my dad would make me go out in the mornings to get the eggs. And we had this chicken. We named him Foghorn Leghorn, man. He's a big old, he's a rooster. He wasn't chicken. He's a big old rooster. And I'd have to go out And I'd sneak out there and I'd be looking around. Oh, foghorn's nowhere to be seen. I'm like, okay, I'd sneak in and I'd start getting these eggs. It never failed. Every time I turned around, that damn chicken had me cornered in the damn the cage, and it would chase me, and I'd be running for my dear life, man. That was the meanest daggum rooster ever. Oh man, it was a miracle. I made it back to the house every day. You know, it's a miracle.
I say, boy, you need to run
Yeah,
faster.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah. That was it, man. Good old Foghorn, man. He
You
had
can't
me.
get mad at him because he's only doing his job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I mean, I did get mad at him. Don't get me wrong. I was not a happy camper with him around, but yeah. We also, my dad had an old station wagon at one point, and he had put some chickens in the station wagon for whatever reason. It was I mean, it was basically dead, right? So he was just using the inside because it was cold. And somehow an owl got inside, because owls, they love some chickens now. Got inside the daggum car. And so I go out one morning, and there he is. There's the owl. And not just an owl, this dude had a claw thing that, you catch prey with or whatever. It had snapped on its leg, and his skin had grown over the daggum claw. That's how long he had had it on there, and was flying around with his daggum. It was flying around with it. It was amazing.
With a trap on it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And
Wow.
you could see like its skin had it like grown kind of around it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It
Holy
was it
shit.
was it was crazy, man. His leg didn't fall off or nothing. He's just still out doing his thing, eating some chickens, man. I
And
mean, everybody likes chicken.
a neighbor that doesn't live too far from here called me and said, "Hey, there's something in my chicken coop. Can you come by and take a look at it?" So I hop in the car and drive over there, and sure enough, there was a possum in the chicken coop.
Nice.
And possums don't move fast, but like the possum had gotten hold of a chicken and like had it around the neck, and I walked in there, and the possum was like looking at me. Okay, I'll leave, and possum was
He
walking
waddled
out. And I'm
out.
like, how the fuck did you catch a chicken moving that slow? And I
I've
turned back
never
to
heard of
the
that. I didn't know possums would go after chickens.
yeah, possum's
Wow.
omnivore if there's not enough food around. But yeah, I look back at the owner. I'm like, yeah, it's dead. Yeah, yeah.
You got a
Something
dead
in your
chicken.
coop. You did. Okay, I'm just gonna leave this here. Possum left. Bye. I ain't touching that chicken. You can have it. Your problem, not mine.
Oh man, that's too funny. Yeah. Man, we got way off topic, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't even know what we were talking about and how we
I
got to
don't
that.
either.
So
Well,
We start no, I
it's
think
just
we
that kind
started
of
with
podcast.
with with YMCA and the village people, and somehow we're talking about a
possums and
possum.
chickens.
Okay, I'll tell the story about Vic. You might remember when we were doing this in buy-in. I don't know if we were buddies yet, but when Dad was raising rabbits, you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
story.
So my dad, I was young, and my dad's like, he would go out and kill a rabbit, and we'd have a rabbit for dinner or what have you. And rabbits, they multiply, man. They're fast, dude. They bang them out, They're very, very wise in how to procreate. They're good at it. So we go out all the time. We'd eat rabbit, and he'd go out and kill them. Well, I never went with him. And one day he's like, "Hey, boy, you want to go out and kill a rabbit with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds like fun." So, so he takes me out there, and in order to transport a rabbit from one cage to the other, you grab its ears, and you just pick him up and put him in the other cage or what have you. And so he's like, "Well, all you do, you're just gonna grab the rabbit like you're gonna move him to another cage." And like at this point, like everything's calm. There's nothing crazy happening. Dad reached in, he grabbed that rabbit, and he held it up like this, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah." And I looked down, and Dad had a butcher knife, but it was back behind his leg, and he is like, "Now all you're gonna do is just gonna reach up and slit its throat. That's all you're gonna do." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sounds good." As soon as Dad like went like this, it hadn't touched the rabbit, nothing. The rabbit saw it, and because Dad was doing it in front of all the other rabbits, so they knew what was going on. He reached over, and the rabbit starts screaming like a little kid. It was like, "Ah!" Slices his throat. And of course, I'm a little kid. I freak out. I go running inside. I'm like, oh my God. And I go to my mom, and you cut it to screaming, and I was all kinds of messed up. But I learned then that that's how you kill a rabbit. You just slit its throat. So it was a good time.
Well,
Yeah,
gentlemen,
as
this
as
is
rough
a
as it is. Go ahead, Vic.
this is the third time I've had to relight this cigar because it's so fucking cold out here. It's going out.
Well, you
It looks.
also did you have a runner earlier?
I had a runner earlier also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but give me a minute. I'm going to go inside because I can't keep the cigar lit. So there's no reason staying out here where it's fucking 40 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah. Go inside, get warm, man.
And deal with my fucking crazy ass dog.
There's that too. But whatever. Oh man. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a good time.
people may not want to hear like on the podcast about stuff like that, but I mean it goes back to what we used to talk about, stuff that people don't realize what it takes,
Yeah.
and that's what your grandparents went through, your parents.
Hmm.
I mean, I know that's what mine did. I mean,
Oh yeah.
to understand that, it may be a traumatizing thing when you're a kid to watch that.
Yeah,
But
but at least you see it and you understand. You understand death.
yes,
I
well,
think that
there's an
helps.
understanding of where our food comes from, and
Yeah.
there has to be an understanding. And I don't, especially in today's world, maybe things need to be different. I don't know, but to understand, I thought you were going to say something completely different about the rabbit. No offense. I that was
You're
when
welcome.
I when I
You're
when I was a
welcome.
kid. Yeah, we used to, my dad would go like during the summer and that, and would groundhog hunt, shoot
Oh
groundhogs.
yeah,
The
yeah.
farmers don't want groundhogs, could put holes or
Yeah.
cattle, sheep, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, break a leg, horses. So they're like, yeah, freaking go out there and kill them all. I don't care. And
Mm-hmm.
one
Oh yeah.
particular one, he actually farmer in uh, Clintonville, Pennsylvania, actually went to school with my mother. He
Oh
had
wow.
a farm, a family farm, and him and his wife, and they, he had multiple fields, but he raised sheep
Mm-hmm.
and he had rabbits. And in that area, there was not extremely large, but there was kind of an Amish community, so they would come
Mm.
and buy stuff like that. And there was a meat shop just in that area, but it was the butchers were Amish, and they
Yeah.
you could take stuff there, process beef and stuff. But this particular farmer did all of his own. Somebody'd say, hey, I want a lamb or I want a sheep,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd go out and do basically what you were talking about. But he
Yeah.
was raised rabbits, and we were standing there, and he had just pans and pans and pans of rabbits. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody said, yeah, he said, we were there. And he goes, yeah. He said, I'm glad you guys are here, man. He said, I need some help. He said, I got an order. He said, I got a call. I don't know who it was. I don't remember now. He said, yeah. They said they wanted like 10 rabbits. And they're going to be here in a couple hours to pick them up. They wanted them fresh. I was like, okay. So we literally, my dad, he's like, you be wanting to help. My dad's like, yeah, well, whatever you need, Carl. And he's, a Northwest is, a country boy is a country boy. It don't matter where
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
at.
Yeah. For sure.
Different language, different, accent and stuff like that. But he's like, I really use your help. And I was probably 13, 14 at the time.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I got you. Come on, let's go. And we're walking up there and he goes in and, he just starts grabbing, like you said, reaching in and grabbing rabbits by the ears. And he was throwing them in a separate thing. And he goes, yeah, that's them there. Because they wanted a certain weight and all this and that. I don't remember what the
Yeah.
heck it was for. There was specific things they wanted.
Yeah.
And we get them, and he literally he had them all on another crate, and he comes over with a 4-wheeler or something, and he rides it. There's another trailer and rides it over, his little processing shed and all that stuff. And he's like, all right, grab a rabbit. I'm like, okay. And I was like, he's like, yeah, grab a rabbit. I said, well, I saw you grab it by the ears. He said, grab by the ears, reach in and grab a rabbit. You know, I'm standing there. I'm like, he said, "You ever done this?" I was like, "No, can I watch you do it? I'll watch it." You know, and then I just assumed kind of like you talk. I was like, okay. And he reaches in, grabs a rabbit by the ears, doesn't even slit its throat. He takes it, grabs it by the ears, and then grabs it by the back like the scuff.
Yeah.
Grabs it and twists its head off.
Yeah.
Pulls its head completely off, throws it out, chucks the rabbit in there, and the damn thing's kicking still. And I was like, what? I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. He said, it's actually more humane than doing it any other way. He's like, grab a rabbit. And I was like, I don't really want to grab a rabbit.
I don't want now. I don't want.
Yeah, so he grabs another one. My dad grabbed one, and he did it. And we're sitting there, and I was like, finally, my dad wouldn't make me do it, but he kind of looked at me. He's like,
yeah, just that dad pressure,
yeah.
you know.
He
When
would
dad
never,
looks
you know,
at you.
he would go silent. It was almost like, okay, you're disappointing, boy. You know, at that point, and, you know, and the farmer girl, he goes, grab a rabbit. And I grabbed it. I was like, twist it, throw it. He goes, was that so hard? I was like, no, sir.
Deep down inside, yeah, I know. Deep down inside, he's like, "Oh, don't make me do it."
I just twisted this rabbit's head off.
But you know, that goes to show like a difference in understanding death, and I think that this is just me personally. When you look at how many deaths and how many killings and different things that are going on with guns and all this different stuff, right? When we were growing up, we saw what death was.
Yeah.
You know, and you saw the consequences of what you did. If you shot a deer, you watched the deer die. And if the deer didn't die all the way, what'd you do? You killed it. You know, you had to do whatever you had to do to make sure he was dead. And kids nowadays don't see that. They don't understand it. So when they're playing with a gun and they play these video games and they're, I get to regenerate or come back to life and redo and all this other stuff. In their mind, they're thinking, yeah, I can, it's no problem. I'm not going to actually die. I can have another chance at it. You know, I don't think,
until you
I think that's what it is.
Watch death or, you know, and there's all kinds of movies that talk about it. You know, Yellowstone was one. You know, it's like, okay, you go out and you shoot a deer or something. But I remember, you know, when I was old enough to hunt and went out with my dad and, you know, my first deer, you know, I wanted to celebrate, man. I wanted to, my dad snatched me up real quick and he's like, what are you doing? My dad didn't cuss. He didn't, you know, he would go radio silent with me for days if he was disappointed in me. And I'm like, what I do to, you know, I didn't know what I did.
Yeah.
But he stopped me and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, I guess my first deer. And he goes, I'm proud of you. He said, but you just took a life.
Yeah.
And he literally made me, you know, get down ground level with that deer, put my hand on it and say, thank you. He said, that deer is going to feed us. That deer is, we're going, you know, you need to stop and you need to understand. He said, it may have not been human, but he said, that deer was alive and it's not anymore. And I was like, holy shit. You know, and that was my first understanding of what, you know, what death was. I mean, if you got a nice buck or something, you know, it's like, oh, yeah, good job, you know, look at that. But he would never sit there and hoot and holler. He despised people like that. And, you know, it transferred onto me. And these guys, I watch these hunting shows and that, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's a beautiful deer. But, you know, give the damn thing some respect.
You know, well, you know, that's one of the great things with like Native Americans, you know, that was one of their things is if they killed something, they would always stop and they would, you know, say thank you to, you know,
absolutely.
You know, they say thank you for sacrificing yourself to give us meat and us clothing and all these other. And they used everything that was there. You know, everything from the skin to the bones to, man, they used everything, you know.
Yeah, there was nothing went to waste. I mean, they ate everything and they used everything. So
but
I mean, you're right.
We had guys come in and they started killing all the buffalo and leaving them out there, you know, and basically almost killed them all, man. I mean, we just have a very limited supply of buffalo left now.
Yeah.
Or not buffalo. What are they called?
Bison.
Bison, yeah. We call them buffalo, but they're not actual buffaloes. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, one of my dad's cousin, and yeah, they're. I think they're bison, but
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between bison and buffalo, to be honest with you. But I don't remember
I
what
think
it is.
so.
Yeah,
I don't either. I don't know.
I think some are a cross between cattle and like beef and.
Mm. You know,
But
they say that the bison, if you raise bison for food, they say that the meat is really, really good for you.
yeah,
It's better than cow meat, but they're incredibly aggressive. So they don't recommend anybody starting with bison as a farmer or a
yeah,
cattleman or whatever. I don't know what you would call a bisoner. I don't know. I'm just making shit up now, but yeah, that they're very aggressive and they'll like charge you and they'll hurt you. Like they want to hurt you. Like,
well, yeah, they want to
they
kill
ain't
you.
gonna mess
Yeah,
with you. Yeah,
yeah,
good old
yeah. That
bison.
was one of my dad's cousins when I was a kid in Pennsylvania. He actually raised. He had buffalo,
Hmm.
but he crossbred them so they were beefaloes.
Oh, beefaloes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember going there and watching them, and it's like unbelievable the size. The size of a
Oh
cow, but
yeah.
you look at a damn buffalo or something like that, it's like, good
Hmm.
lord. But I mean, just to sit there and watch them, it was like unbelievable. But
Have you guys been to Yellowstone?
I've never been. I always wanted to go and never been
Dude,
able to.
you have to go at least once. It is incredible. And go when the buffalo are migrating. Uh, like thousands and thousands of buffalo, and it's just the most amazing sight. And there's people out there stupid enough to almost walk right up on one. People get killed by them all the time out in Yellowstone because they just don't understand. Elk are the same way. Man, those elk, I cannot believe how big those daggum elk are. I mean,
Yeah,
they're huge. They're, man, it's ridiculous, man.
yeah, yeah. There's elk in Pennsylvania because they actually have an elk season, but it's
Yeah,
like a lottery. There's only so many can taken. But I remember seeing
right, right.
an actual elk when I was a kid, and I was like, and
Yeah.
I
What is
think we.
what is there? There's another one that's bigger. A moose. A
Oh,
moose
moose
is
is
a
freaking.
daggum, man. It's like
Yeah.
ridiculously big. I
You get
remember me.
especially you get a male moose and rut, that thing will destroy
Oh
you. It'll
God,
kill
yeah,
you.
yeah.
You wouldn't think a moose would be that fast, but it's all legs, man. That thing will just
It's,
destroy you. It's like,
I remember me and Carlene were riding a motorcycle from Oklahoma trying to make it to California. We didn't make it that go round, but we made it, I think, to Colorado, and we had stopped. Like we saw a moose on the side of the road, and we pulled over because it was on the interstate. We pulled over, and we're like, "Oh my God, that thing's huge!" We could have easily like ridden the motorcycle underneath it and not even like touched it. That's how big it was. I mean, it was huge. It was amazing, truly amazing.
Reminds
Like
me of a
how
girl I dated in college. All legs and could have destroyed me. Yeah.
come on, Vic. Come on. No, that was all
that was
legs.
pretty good. That was pretty good.
Well, the difference between a bison and a buffalo is the bison has the large hump on the back, and then buffalo does not have the hump and has larger horns.
They're
Okay,
both native to
but we
North
don't have
America.
bison here, or we have bison in America, not buffalo, correct?
Correct. Wait a
But
minute.
we called them buffalo. That's like what everyone recognized them as a buffalo because it was closely related to it, right?
I believe you're right.
Okay.
Let's see. Uh,
That would be really convenient. Like you guys watch like Joe Rogan and he has this guy in the background and he's like, "Hey, pull that up." And it like flashes up and then
Yeah.
that'd be real convenient right now, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
we need
can't
a
do all
fact
that.
checker. We need somebody that can.
Yeah, fact checker. There you go. We'd be screwed if we ever had a fact checker.
Yeah, let's get Krista back. Krista can do that in the background.
That's true. Yeah, Crystal
No,
was good at
no,
that.
no, no, no.
She'll keep us in line.
I don't. I didn't mean it like that. No, no disrespect towards Krista. Actually, nice if she come back every once in a while and pop in. But
Yeah, I haven't heard from her in a little while. I need to reach out to her and see how she's doing. Well,
uh,
what else do we want to talk about? Go ahead, Vic.
Wait a minute, that's not.
Oh, hey, yeah, you're sharing your screen. I see it. Go ahead.
I'm trying to, but it's
We're
not.
high speed, low drag now.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not showing what was on my screen. I was going to show you the picture, the
Is it
difference
a
between a
video?
bison and a buffalo. Whatever.
Hey, be
Go
careful,
to when
careful
you do
what
the
pops
share.
up. I don't know what you're looking up, so be careful what pops up.
When you go to your share, go to share link or share website or something like that. I think it's link. And then you can type in whatever, wherever you're, like if you're going to Google or whatever, you should be able to type that and then it'll pop it up.
Just clear out your browser before you do
Yeah, please. We don't need to turn this into X-rated all of a sudden.
it.
Although I always click it's not for kids. So if that happens, it's okay.
NSFW, not safe for work. Yeah.
Not safe for work. I like it.
All right. Well, then we'll try this. All right. Here we go. We'll try this one more time. And go that. And see, does this? Oh,
Oh,
Hey, look at
there.
that.
hey. Yeah, there you go.
Now I just got to figure out how to
Buffalo
make
is
that
like a
pop
water
up.
buffalo. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So,
Bison
so
is
the bison has the hump,
Has the big hump and a larger head,
right?
and the buffalo, yeah. And the buffalo is a smaller head, bigger horns, and no hump.
Yeah. And the kind of like the got you. Okay. That makes sense. Vic, you're hired. You're the official fact checker and pull up stuff guy.
I've heard that's amazing. I was talking to somebody,
you know,
it's probably been a couple years ago now, that went on they paid for it and they said it wasn't as expensive as you would think it was, but they went to Africa on a safari. But yeah, you go there and it's all paid for, and they put you up in these big tents and feed you and do all that, but take you out early in the morning and at night. But they went when the water buffalo migration, and they he said they sat up there like on a bluff and watched. It was just hundreds of thousands of water buffalo just migrating, crossing the river and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, it was like the most magical moment I've ever seen in my life, just to sit and watch something so natural. It was,
yeah.
And I was like, well, that's pretty neat. But he and his wife, they went over there, and I think it was 7 days or 10 days. And yeah, it's still a lot of money, but I think they did it all with plane tickets and all that, food, lodging, and everything. It was like $5,000.
Wow.
To go over there, just experiencing it. There's like, yeah, we went and saw that. We saw elephants. We saw lions. We saw, literally
tigers and bears. Oh my.
Yeah. Handed out animal crackers, which,
Oh, very nice.
I don't think there was any bears over there, but I mean.
Well, they have no, not in Africa, I guess. Carlene went. My wife went to Africa on work, and she said that, like, you go to a zoo and you see a giraffe, or you see, an elephant or anything like that, right? But when you're there in Africa and you see one, she said they're so much bigger and just, I mean, ridiculous how big they are,
Yeah.
I'm of course I haven't experienced it, but she did, and she brought back some pictures. It's pretty cool, man. I mean, she saw some pretty neat stuff while she was over there.
Yeah. To go on that with like those reservation, I don't know what they call them, reservations, or what they call them over there. It's almost almost all that area is protected because of poachers and crap like that. But it was he was actually the hockey team my son played at here in Georgia, in Columbus, Georgia, high school hockey team.
Yeah.
The one kid, his dad was he retired out of the Army, but he was Army Special Forces, Afghanistan, stuff like that. But every year he goes to Africa, and because he was a sniper. And every year he goes to Africa, and he goes out with those, like the government, and they
like
go
the
out.
African government?
Yeah, they go out in these different, whatever counties or however they call it, these reservations. He goes, maybe not every year, like every other year, but he goes over there, and he's got a permit, a license to go over there and just ding. They go looking for
No
poachers.
kidding.
They just go out and sit. And he said it.
Wow.
He said and I talked to him about it. I said, how does that feel? And he goes, man, he said, when you sit there and you watch these animals and you see these animals, he said the government, they can only do so much. They go out there and do patrols, nightly patrols, daily. They're out, but they just can't catch up to it. They can't keep up with it. And he said it was funny. I don't know how he got to do it. I don't know if there's an organization that was, the operators club joined up with, you know what I mean, with somebody. But I was like, so you literally went out there and sat? And he goes, yep.
Wow.
He said, and, I got over there and I was like, I just follow you guys around. And they're like, well, you're not over here to follow us around to back us up. You're here to do something. He's like, really? And they're like, yeah. So he's got his own weapon. It gets shipped over and everything else. And, he said, they said on, this reservation, and he said, there's people trying to, there's rhinos or elephants.
Mm.
And he said, they just were just sitting there. I said, so what do they do when they catch these people, these poachers? He said,
I don't think they catch them.
He said, by the end of the night, he said, they're no longer poachers. He said, that's all I can tell you on that one. I was like, really? He goes, yep. I mean, when
that's what I'm saying.
them,
they don't catch them. They don't catch them. They might see something in the after effect of it.
He said, you'll hear a single gunshot in the night. And he said, that's the end of one poacher. And he's like, they make examples out of them too. They're like, yeah, the rest of your buddies come in here. This is what's happening. And
wow.
He said, he said he enjoyed doing it because he got to continue to do what he was doing in the military. But he said he felt that he was actually doing it for a bigger cause than what he was doing it for in the military. He said, I did what I did for my brothers, but he said, I actually felt like I was doing something for the planet at that point. I said, just popping people on the head. He goes, well, if it is what it is.
Like, hey, that just goes to show that no matter what your job is in the military,
take pride.
There's a job out there for you.
But I mean, that's how serious a lot of that stuff is, just trying to protect you, but it's amazing that.
Wow.
But he said there's literally people out, there's government and organizations that live out on those out in the bush, whatever you want to call it. They don't ever come in. They just stay out there. They'll come in to get resupplied and stuff like that, but that's all they do is patrol.
Yeah.
And he said, it's amazing. He said, I said, well, you figure in a year, how many people do they catch out there? And he said, well, they don't catch anybody, like you were saying.
Yeah.
He said, they find them, but he said, I mean, they're literally in the thousands a year.
There's a lot of money in it, though.
But it's sad. The reason there's money in it is because the country itself won't invest in their people.
Mm-hmm.
So that they can actually try to live and make it, and that's the other side of it, is trying to teach. It's like, okay, well, what do we need to do here to fix this problem? If you're a poacher, you may be a poacher, but you have a family, and it's like, okay, well, I got to do this to feed my family.
I got to feed my family,
to get water and stuff like that. And that's the big shift that he was talking about. And this has been several years ago now.
I question this. Like, there are people out there that live very primitive lives, right? Like, you go to Africa, there's still tribes out there that they don't know much, right? There's videos of guys going to Africa, talking to these tribes and telling them, hey, look, this is what people in America do. This is what people in Europe do, or whatever. And they're like, well, that's the dumbest thing ever, because they live very primitive lives, and then that makes me question, like, yeah, we may be advanced, but do we need to be pushing that on these guys?
Yeah.
I mean, they're happy and content with everything that they got going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've lived like that forever, and they have no want or need to.
Yeah,
they provide for themselves.
What was that? What was the flick that? Oh man, What is a Woman? I think there was a segment in that Vic, correct me if I'm wrong, where they go to Africa and they start talking about it, and they're like, "What?" Like it didn't even register to them what they were talking about. It was crazy.
Yeah, Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Went to Africa and interviewed. Do you think a woman can be a man or a man can be a woman? And they're like, huh? Why
Yeah.
would you
They just
want
looked at
to?
him like he was stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you want to?
Yeah. I mean, is that something that we should try to change? Maybe living primitive was better, in a lot of ways, you know?
Definitely a lost art. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Now, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe I clicked on it one too many times or something like that. But all the live off the grid shit is what keeps popping up on my Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
The apothecary book and all that kind of stuff. Like I mean, I've actually bought a couple of the books, so when shit goes down, I can collect rainwater and stuff. But
Yeah, what's the one guy, the older guy that's got the beard and all that? He's talking about, this is the stuff
the lost art, or no,
our ancestors lived off of, and they lived.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be like, man, I got to get that damn book. It's like, but no, I'm the same way. I watch a lot of those videos
to those guys.
Yeah, that book's up somewhere on one of these bookshelves up here. I can't, I think it's somewhere up here.
You better locate it so we know what to do whenever it's time.
Yeah, when the Democrats burn down the United States in 2 days.
Hey, you know what? We need to have a live podcast where you read from the book and teach us what we need to do. Or maybe we just get one of those guys to come on the podcast to
what's that
tell
guy
us what
named
we
Bear,
need to do.
Bear, whatever his name
Bear
is.
Grylls?
Grill.
Yeah, Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
Teach us, we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
We got to do something, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to go Naked and Afraid so before I learn something.
Hey, I got to be honest. I can't do that. I can't walk outside barefoot. It hurts. I can't do it, man. I don't like walking inside barefoot. I'll be honest with you. I don't like it.
It's not the bare feet. It's like I can't walk anywhere without my orthopedic inserts. That's my problem.
Hey, you got flat arches or something?
Yeah.
Flat feet? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, the exact opposite. My arches are so high that like when I walk around without my inserts, my fucking feet hurt for 12 hours.
Yeah. You got to have your sensible shoes, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You gotta-
I'm about to get to the point where I need the ones with Velcro because I'm sick and tired of my fucking shoes getting knotted all the time.
Hey, man, you talk shit about me all the time about my damn Crocs. But I'm telling you right now, it's very convenient to just slip your foot into something and then just walk away, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
We need to get it. We need to get a sponsorship from Crocs. That's what we need. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, I just have something. There's just something inside me. It's like I have a hard time, wearing a petroleum-based product on my foot.
You gotta embrace it, man. You just gotta embrace it.
I guess
That's footwear. You can wear it whatever. It gets dirty, you throw it in the dishwasher, pull it back up. Man, those babies are squeaky clean, and just put them in four-wheel drive and go back outside and go. And
literally squeaky. They're squeaky. Yeah.
So I actually own a pair of Croc type shoes. Well, they actually are made by Croc. They're Crocs, but they're like,
what are they?
They're Croc soles, but it has like a canvas top on it.
Oh yeah. I used to
and
call those my God slippers.
Yeah. So well, mine has same thing. Mine has Mickey on it. But
And mine didn't have Mickey.
But like, A, the arches aren't high enough. B, like I have to wear socks because when my feet sweat, I just slide around in it, because like I can't do it.
Yeah, it's almost to that point that gets slimy feeling. It's like,
yeah,
what
fuck
the
that.
frick is, yeah. Now, I won't lie to you. I have Croc flip-flops, but I can't. I've never owned a pair of Crocs. I can't wear them. I don't.
What?
No.
What is wrong with y'all?
My feet sweat too much.
No, that's my problem.
I love some Crocs, man. Hey, you know what? I got something really cool. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law bought these for me, and for Christmas. And I don't wear like tennis shoes very often. The only time I would wear them was when I ran, right? But they bought me these daggum Nike shoes, but they're like brown, right? You see that? Sorry, let me try it again. There it is. They're brown shoes, tan, whatever you want to call it, but they're Nikes. Oh man, I can't even get it in the frame. Nikes, look at that. I've been wearing the heck out of these, and I just tied them loose enough that I can slip them on, just like Crocs, and walk away. They're good. They're good.
Is
I
it the
can't hear you,
tan
Mike.
color that does it for you, or what? I mean, what's
Yeah, I like tan and black and
all right?
yeah.
So, do you wear socks? Do you have socks on, or you just?
I do actually have socks on
Okay,
here. Let
all
me show
right.
you. Let me show you.
No,
I
I
got
don't need
I
to.
got
I don't need
socks
to.
on right there.
I don't need to. I don't need to see all that.
You got to stay motivated though.
Yeah, I don't need. I
Yeah.
See,
don't need to see it. I
I
don't need
wear
to see
New
your hammer
Balance
toe.
because New Balance has the highest natural arch in them already, and then I got these
Uh-huh.
big old things in them. Yeah, it's
Good Lord, man.
yeah. Look how high that arch is. That's
That's
ridiculous.
ridiculous,
Yeah,
man.
and when so these were these were prescription arches, and when the guy like the guy that prescribed the whatever the foot doctor, this was like when I was a sergeant, by the way. So this is like 2000 and I don't know 4.
Yeah.
But it was when I was at Miramar the first time. The doc, who was not a young man, was like, "Oh, I know these. You've got like the second highest pair of arches I've ever seen in my career." And I'm like, "Well,
Wow.
wow, okay." And he goes, "Yeah, the highest arch I have isn't big enough for you. I gotta." And then like he put like moleskin on top of that, and then a layer over that.
What?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not even kidding, dude. And then like because I had plantar fasciitis really, really
Yeah.
bad in both feet. And I mean, for like 3 or 4 weeks, it felt like I was walking around with a golf ball in my shoe. And then when my arches finally like settled down, every now and then I'd stepped it just right, and it would shoot this like electric jolt right up my hip, like from my foot all the way to my. I mean, it was weird. But like after I finally got accustomed to them, I wore them, and he goes, wear them until this top layer just like erodes off, and then you can just just use the plastic. And so it took like 4 or 5 months for that top layer of moleskin and everything to just basically wear off. And I've had these
No
plastic
kidding.
inserts ever since.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So 20 years now, same set of plastic inserts.
So you haven't had to change them out?
No, I mean they're solid plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Very
You wore
interesting.
those to Iraq and everything.
everything, yeah. Wore them in my boots to Iraq and wore them in my core frames.
Wow.
I mean, it's a pain in the ass because every time I change shoes, I got to change them.
Yeah,
They
Yeah,
follow me
that's no
around. But
joke.
yeah, in my boots, in my core frames, and my tennis shoes. Yep.
Wow.
So what'd you do
That's
before
wild.
that? I mean, you went on a hopper or anything like that? I mean,
It was real
You just-
weird. Like
you
I made
hurt?
it all the way through boot camp and MCT without one single blister, not one. And then
Wow.
I get into when I get to 29 Palms, and just before I start, I got towards the end of my first tour, I started getting all these blisters behind the ball of my feet, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I finally, and this is at this point, I changed duty stations to Miramar, and then like same thing, we're going running. I'm getting all kinds of blisters on the bottoms of both the balls of my feet, just behind the balls of my feet, like just where my arch starts. And then I go to the
Yeah.
doc about it, and doc is like, "Yeah, this you got ridiculously high arches. That's why." And he goes, "Have you like what do you do for shoes?" And I'm like, "It just seems like New Balance has the ones that work for." And he goes, "That makes sense because they have the highest arches." He goes, "But yeah," and then he tells me the whole. And then like fast forward like 20 years, then I had foot surgery or ankle
Mhm.
surgery. It was ankle surgery, and then the boot that I had to. They had to put me in so my ankle could heal. I got
Mhm.
put in so I was on one of those little knee carts for like 4 months, 6 months, something like that. And
Yeah.
then I was in a boot, and while I was in the boot, it gave me plantar fasciitis again in both feet. Even though I was only
Wow.
wearing the boot one, I went to the doc about it, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, you're probably going to get plantar fasciitis with the boot." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, thanks. I've already had it once. You could have told me." And then, so here I am with the shaving cream and frozen ice bottles, trying to
rolling your foot on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I said, well, why both of you? He goes, your other foot's overcompensating. That's why. I'm like, oh, great. Awesome. And it got so bad that I wound up having to have steroid shots in the bottom of my feet. I would not recommend that. I would not recommend that. I mean, and it wasn't like, here's the bottom of your foot. Oh, here's one. No, it was like, dig around, dig around, dig around, dig around. And then he goes, oh, you want to do the other foot while you're here? And I'm like, just get it over my tongue, man. Oh, man, it was awful, awful. And then on the second foot, this is the best part. On the second foot, he's like, well, I got this numbing spray. You want me to use it? I'm like, motherfucker. You think you're going to mention that on the first one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I mean, you have like stepping on a Lego and nothing compared to having a fucking needle ground around in the bottom of your fucking foot because he had to put it in like 3 different directions.
So was that outside of the military, or was that a civilian doctor?
That was military doctor.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
sounds about right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you want me to put this numbing spray on it, motherfucker? Are you kidding me?
There's no such thing as numbing spray.
Which you
hey,
didn't help.
As I look at both of you, and I talked to Vic about this before we got started, but I look at your beards there, your goatees, and man, it's just so long and straight. You know, you guys looking really good. I was, Vic said he uses a blow dryer and stuff on his. Do you do that, Mike? No, because mine is not. It's very curly and unlike my hair, it's my hair is very flat and straight.
Well, when I get up in the morning, it's this is what it looks like,
Yeah, that's why I was this morning. I woke up this morning. I flopped over. I actually slept in till like 9 o'clock this morning, and my face was on the pillow like this, and I woke up and I got up and everything's like it was like I was like, that hurts. I was like doing this, and I had to get the brush out. I was like combing it out, I was like, that hurts. But it was like, I've done like you, Vic, where I've gone like 6 months and grown it like you and got it out that far. And there's been times I've woken up and it's like sitting up here. And it's like, it was like, Well, see, I don't know about you.
It's now starting to get long enough that when I put my helmet on and I, the chin strap underneath, I'm starting to grab. I'm like, ow, 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 because I'm like pulling hair and so I'm like, ow, fuck.
That's my problem. Like being bald, shaving my head. If I get lazy and I'll go like maybe like 2 weeks and don't shave my head, of course, I've got this whole thing all of a sudden. It's all dark, and then it's like, why the hell don't I just grow it out? But I'll at night or something I'll sleep. But the hair, I don't know if you guys have this, and maybe I'm just the only one, and maybe just this weird thing. But like that, but the hair gets bent.
Oh yeah,
and it actually hurts. And I'm like, holy shit! It's like I'm like doing.
Well, that my beard gets that way because I lay on my left side, like you were talking about, and you'll see like this will be like super flat, and the other side's all poofed out because I lay on my left side. But it'll get like that. So in the mornings, it's all got to rub it out or what.
Yeah,
that sounded bad.
Yeah, you got to rub it out.
Yeah, when you get up in the morning, you got to rub it out.
Yeah. Priorities.
The beard.
You got to rub it out. You got to rub it out. Do what you got to do. I mean, this is.
Oh, God help us.
No, I know you talked about, Vic. You don't really put anything in yours, do you?
I have been started using, like in the last couple of weeks, I've started using beard oil. Because I mean, I was trying to figure out a way to keep it formed so I could start to, kind of teaching it, growing it in a direction so I could separate. But I started looking at it, and I'm starting now. It's getting long enough that, like, when I get out of the shower and I actually brush it with a brush, like it's hair is starting to break off. So like,
what do you mean break off?
Like it's just like split ends and
it's like hair.
It's dry.
So but like I'll brush it and I look down in the sink and there's 3 or 4. It looks like I've got pubes dropping off my chin. But But I started
That's
looking
what
up
my
online.
wife says all the time. She's like, it feels like pubes. It's not soft. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do, babe. I'm, you know.
And it's getting long enough now that like a couple weeks ago I was just something caught my eye, and I kind of maybe it was a reflection on my glasses or something. It caught my eye, and I felt just when I touched my beard, touched my chin, and at the same time I thought I saw something, and I'm like, oh, that was my beard. I totally thought it was like a bug on my. Oh, my beard.
Well, that's one thing with me.
I've
Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, I was gonna say I've had some like flyaways, and it'll be out like this, and you can see them, and you're like, "What the heck is that?" And you're like, "It's a flyaway from your beard." You're like, "Oh man."
That's what I was just gonna say. I mean, like it. I'll literally go get a shower, you know, and wash it and do all that. I get out, and I had beard oil, but I don't have any more. So I'll
Was that your dog?
Saying, yeah, that was dog.
What'd you do?
It
Step on
sounded
him?
like you.
But anyways, I'll put some beard butter in there, and I'll do all this and that, and I'll comb it all out. And then, you know, I'll get the little scissors out. I'm like, all right, got those, this, and that. Next morning or something, I'll walk in the bathroom, and I'm like, the fuck is that? And there'll be a hair like that long. It's like sticking. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? I'm like, what? It's like her off of here, but it's like in front of my eyeball. And I'm like, what the hell? It's like, what? It's like, where the hell did that come from?
That's nice.
Yeah, I get that with my eyebrows actually.
Yeah, I had to do that the other night. The other night, my wife was home. The night before, where she left Thursday to go back up to Tennessee, and you know, got a shower and all that. I was standing out in the kitchen or whatever. Went out, we were watching TV, and she's doing something. She goes, "Hey, you do me a favor?" I was like, "Yeah, what?" She goes, "Go trim your eyebrows." I'm like, what's wrong with my eyebrows? She goes, go look at yourself. I don't sit there and stand in the mirror and be like gawking at myself. Like this side here was like, it was like all the way up to here. It was like, it went swooping up like that. She goes, go freaking trim your damn eyebrows. I'm like, what?
He looked like a villain from a cartoon. Swooping up.
See, I used to have the problem where I used to have to shave like in here.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I was like, where the hell did that hair go? Now it's like,
it's all out here.
It's like, let me get some mustache wax and start, you know, rolling my eyebrows up. You know, when I was a kid, every Sunday we went to church. Man, greatest people on the face of the planet. It was last names was Kelly. It was Peg and Bill Kelly. Man, just amazing people. But you know, he didn't have the goatee, but he had the big old, you know, like the
bushy mustache.
What's his name? He's still around. He does the USAA commercials, you know.
USAA commercials.
Did a lot of old, you know, westerns and.
I
can't remember his name. Man. You know who I'm talking about? Older guy.
I do.
Always had the big mustache, you know, but he
was in We Are Soldiers.
Yeah.
As the sergeant major.
Yeah.
What the heck is his name?
Sam Elliott.
Yep.
Sam Elliott. Yeah.
But at one point in time, he had it all, you know, out, and I was like, man, I'm gonna start doing this, man. I'm just gonna get that baby. I'm gonna wax it.
Yeah.
And that was what, you know, that guy as a kid, man. And it literally looked like he took it and sat there and wound it up on a pencil, you know, and it just came out and it sat all the way out to here. Nicest people on the face of the planet, but everybody's like, why the hell would you want to have a mustache like that? And I'm like, why the hell wouldn't you? If you can do that,
you can.
I mean, it's just like roll that baby up and just get it, you know, just sit there and just keep.
Hey, I gotta say, if you can rock it, then you better rock it. You know what I'm saying?
Andrew, didn't you find like an order that like the drum major for the 1st Marine Division band was the only person authorized to have a mustache or something like that?
Not the 1st Marine Division band, but there was an order at one point in time where the drum major was the only person that could have a handlebar mustache. So, and I don't know who the guy's name was. I need to do some research on it. But I do have a picture of one of the drum majors that went to Paris Island, and he had a big old handlebar mustache, man. So the story goes, he got orders to Paris Island and he didn't want to go to Paris Island. So he grew a handlebar mustache before he left and he showed up to Paris Island. Well, of course, you have all the drill instructors and all this other stuff, right? And you can't have a mustache and da 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 da. So they went up to him. They're like, hey, you can't have a mustache. And he's like, nah, here's the Marine Corps order that says that the drum major is allowed to have a handlebar mustache. And they were like, well, you can't do that. And he's like, well, I don't care. The Marine Corps order says I can do it. That's what I'm going to do. They were like, well, then you got to go. And he's like, okay, fine, give me orders. So they gave him orders somewhere else. And so he took the orders and left. But that was his way out, was the handlebar mustache. But there's a picture of him with a band officer, and he's got this big old handlebar mustache, man. It's pretty cool. And I was like, man,
when
they
was
should have.
this?
Oh, man, it was a while back,
Back in
dude.
the 50s or something? Or what?
Yeah, 50s, 60s time frame, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think it's a black and white photo. It's pretty cool, though. I'll have to find it sometime and send it out. But yeah, man, back in the day, the drum majors were the only ones authorized to have a handlebar mustache. That's a good deal.
As it should be.
I know. They should bring that back.
Totally.
Yeah. I would have rocked one like it was cool.
Well, now, I mean, everybody and their brother, every picture I see of anybody anymore, at least in the Benfield's got a damn mustache. So it's like,
you're welcome, by the way. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I remember. You remember when we did the Rose Parade, Vic, and we had the entire right flank, and it was you and me and Brooks all had mustaches, and the entire right flank, which is the closest one to the camera, all had mustaches. We had made it a requirement. If you're gonna be in the right flank, you got to have mustaches. Man, did I got so much crap from the band officer community, and like, I can't believe you did that, and da da da. And I was like, whatever, dude. That's why you shouldn't make me a band officer.
Oh, I would have done that shit. I've been like, if you had the ability to grow a mustache, that is a requirement for a Rose Parade. Everybody in the unit will have a damn mustache.
It was
as long
fun,
as it's in with regulations,
cool.
You'll have a damn mustache.
What's really funny is because you don't see very many, or used to, you didn't see very many junior enlisted that would do it, right? No. Because the senior enlisted would squash it. Boom, no mustache, no mustache. But since especially when I went to the schoolhouse and I had a mustache as a senior enlisted, it was so funny, man. Because for a while they all had masks, right? So that I would go in after we finally were able to remove the mask or what have you. I'd go in and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" They got their little bitty mustaches going on. I'm like, dude, that looks bad. You need to go shave it. Like, you try again, man. give it a couple of years. But,
I remember Gleason at 29 Palms is like, you can have a mustache, but you can't grow a mustache. We're all like,
yeah. I was a big.
Oh no, you weren't allowed to grow it.
Yeah,
you had to do it on leave.
Yeah,
that's
right.
So I remember going on leave one time and coming back, and I don't remember who it was, Stafford or somebody. I don't remember who the hell it was. I looked at me and he was like, "The fuck is that?" I was like, well, you told me he always had a mustache. I mean, it was perfectly.
Yeah.
It was almost like a pencil mustache. It's like, man, I can't grow one like that. And I always had for years, a big gap in the middle.
Oh yeah.
So, but I was growing it out, and I shaved it. I even did before I came back. It was a terrible thing, and it's funny now I think about it. Like the day before I left to go back to 29 Palms, go to the airport, I went and got Just for Men, and man, I was like, put that in there. That bitch was dark, man. And I showed up out there, and he looked at me. He's like, "What the fuck is that?" I was like, "That's my mustache, Master Sergeant." He's like, "Bullshit, it is. Get your ass out of here." He said, "Get your fucking ass out of this building. You walk back in here, that shit better be gone." I was like, "Yes, Master Sergeant." Man, I said, I just remembered. And it was just like to match my hair color, which I didn't have much. It was only on the top. But I went a little too dark and let it in there a little too long. And, man, it was like almost jet black. And it was like, like that. It stopped right at the edge. I didn't know how to groom it or anything. It was like, he's like, you need to walk your ass.
Yeah.
Is that? I was like, that's my mustache, Master Sergeant.
The worst is when you had the mustache because the regulations are very specific, right? Uh, you nick just a little
Yeah, you
bit
got to take
on
it
one
off.
side, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh
You got to
man,
do
you
the
gotta
other
start
side. Now you look like
over.
you got a damn Hitler. It's
Yeah,
like,
or you got to take it down real low and then let it kind of grow back out to where it's even again and then start over. But I would always push the limits. I would always like, I'm gonna let it grow out a little bit past my lip. I remember getting to the schoolhouse as a senior enlisted and Davis was there. He came in one morning and he just looked at me and he was like, "You have got to fix that." He's like, "It's horrible." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Come on, man. You're the senior enlisted. You got to make sure your mustache is in regs." I'm like, "Crap. Okay, fine." About it, once every couple of months, he'd have to tell me to go fix it. I'd always push the limits on it, though.
well, you
All
can.
right.
That's the
Well,
way it's supposed to be. The gunny, the master, the master gunny,
that's right.
especially.
That's right. Yeah.
You fucking do
Yeah.
what I say. Don't do what I do. Okay. You freaking do what I fucking
Bitch.
told you to do.
Yeah. If you say bitch at the end, it works better. Yeah.
Why you got
Yeah.
your
You're
coffee
right.
cup in your hands? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do what I told you to do.
Oh my
All
God.
right. Yeah, we've been going for almost 2 hours now.
Have we really? Hey, well, thanks guys. Thanks for coming on and doing this. You guys got words of wisdom?
Well, yeah, always got words of wisdom. I mean, I've got a giant list of quotes that I've only used like half of.
Oh
But
wow.
I will say also that the cigar was nice and tasty. The it had kind of an earthy flavor, but not like the moist soil earthy. It was more
Mm,
like a clay dirt at the beginning.
mm.
And then it was nice and woody in the middle, and then it was starting to get a little peppery towards the end, but I couldn't keep it lit. And you did see the one runner. I would probably smoke it again if somebody gave me one, but if they're more than $10 retail, I probably wouldn't get one. But
So where is it on your scale?
meh,
Okay, another meh.
meh. You give it some
Yeah.
meh.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Let's see. With that being said, quote of the night is: "If better is possible, good is not enough."
Ooh, that's pretty good. Dang. All right. All right. Mike, what do you got?
Hmm. Let's see. Every rose has its thorn, just like every night has its dawn.
That was good. Very poetic.
Just like a cowboy sings a
Jesus.
sad, sad song.
That's pretty
Dang.
much Andrew's entire career in college.
Yeah, that's a true statement. Yeah. My year and a
Every
half.
rose.
Every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. Everybody at that college.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they were sung a really sad song this season because it was, I don't know how many games they won, but I don't know, might have been one or two. They didn't win very many this season.
Yeah, OU was 6-6. Yeah,
Yeah. But did OU go to a bowl game? They
yeah.
didn't, did they? Did they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
their regular season was 6-5, and then they lost
Oh,
their
wow.
bowl game.
Who did they play in the bowl game?
I don't remember. Some unknown. I mean, they
Yeah,
got beat.
we were actually watching it here. I remember watching it, but I don't remember who it was now.
It was at the Cotton Bowl though.
Really?
Yeah.
The Cotton
Yeah.
Bowl ain't what it used to be, though.
No, all those bowl games are all now precursors to it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound like that, but it's ridiculous. What we knew as bowl games. Cotton Bowl,
Yeah.
Peach Bowl,
Citrus Bowl, the Rose Bowl.
yeah,
Yeah, all those.
it's ridiculous.
The Gator Bowl.
Oh, speaking of the Rose Bowl, did you guys watch the I mean, what band was it? One of the bands did a really cool turn in the Rose Bowl. You know how it has that over 90-degree turn type thing? Man,
105
one of the
degrees.
bands did I mean, it was cool, dude. Oh man, you got to watch it. I can't remember which band it was. I don't even remember who played in the Rose Bowl. But I happened to see that and I was like, dude, that was cool, man. Yeah, it was pretty sweet, dude. You got to check it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Like one of the two college bands.
Yes, one of the
Okay.
two college bands. I don't remember which band it was though.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, it was Ohio
Yeah,
State and whoever.
it was not Ohio State.
Oh, okay. Was the other
It
one.
was the other one, whoever the other one was.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, it was a cool turn though. Well worth it. Yeah, it was one of those, the colleges from down south. Uh, one of the black colleges or whatever that they do the
HBCs.
dancing and yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool, man. It was really cool turn. It's
Gotcha.
probably
All
the
right.
best one I've ever seen on that one, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. All
Beats the
right,
one
with
we were rehearsed for a week to make sure it was right.
yeah, yeah. You remember there used to be a week long rehearsal for that crap? We cut it down. What was it? We did a day, I think, before we did ours. Is that right, Vic?
Yeah.
It
One
was
day.
like one full day. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was
Seriously?
it. Yeah, we did
On
one
the
day.
parade deck at Camp Margarita.
Yeah,
We didn't even go to MCRD.
yeah. We did it one day, and then we went and did the parade, and we did fine.
Yeah, imagine that.
We didn't overthink it. We just did it. Something to that.
Oh man, that was hell. We used to go to El Toro and up and down and up and down and up and
The flight
down and up
line,
and
yeah,
down, and then when I went to Miramar and up and down and up and down. It's like,
yeah. It's amazing when you just trust the Marines to do what they can do.
well, I understand when you've got a larger unit. Okay, when you're used to a standard unit, so a standard band, but then you double it or triple it, or even at the point used to be quadruple it. Okay,
Yeah.
well we need to. I understand maybe a couple days just so you can get this, that kind of stuff and cohesiveness, but also the other side of it too is it was a blast just put all four bands together and the
It was cool.
the good
Yeah.
times that came out of it may not have been all that great, but a bunch
I
of
got to
us
be
ended up
honest.
in a strip club in Anaheim, and that turned into a bad scenario. And then,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that was not a good time. That heads
I
were
mean,
going
it
to
was a
roll out of
good
that one,
time.
but we still had a good time. But hey,
Yeah.
when you guys did it, did you guys ever do anything? I mean,
Uh,
as far as traditions or what was the
Not
traditions you
really.
guys did? You didn't. You didn't.
I've only done the parade. I'm not kidding. I think I've done the parade 3 times,
Yeah, Vic.
maybe four.
I mean,
I've done the parade 7 times,
yeah.
and I can't. I mean, other than the annual get up at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh
You know,
Oh
shit! Going to
yeah.
the chow hall and you go
yeah.
eat and all that.
It wasn't even a
crap. Yeah.
chow hall. It was like because you have to drive up there and then you spend the night, and you get up at 3:30 in the morning. You go down into the one of the ballrooms they set up for everybody to have breakfast or something like. Or the first year I did it, they actually drove us to a Denny's and we had to eat in like 7 different shifts.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah.
No,
Wow.
we always used to when I was at 29 Palms first time when we did it at El Toro. We get up the same time, but go to chow hall and the chow hall was wide open. Man, they had everything and anything. We sit there and eat, but
Wow, yeah.
but no. What I was saying as far as like we would it's probably well I can talk about it now because none of us are in it. Who gives a shit now? Because other people listen to it and think it's funny, but we would the night before that day before we would sit there and everybody would freeze a damn beer, stick it in the freezer, and we all froze them and stick it in your pouch and march the whole damn parade. And at the end, when we got to the end, all the buses were lining up, and all you'd be hearing, they were thawed out by then. All you hear standing there drinking beers, and there was I think it was 29 Palms. We were the only ones that did it. Everybody had a damn whiskey flask in their pouch, the whole thing drinking. We got to the end, and I think it was a year that Penn State was in the Rose, was in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was actually a guy I went to high school. He was a year ahead of me, and he knew I was going to be out there, and they were standing there because they were just ahead of us, Penn State band, and he is like, oh, Mike, it's like, all right, hold on a second. We're all cracking beers and drinking. And he's like, you guys are allowed to do that? And I was like, no, but that and holding my In-N-Out, my In-N-Out burger in my hand.
Oh, yeah, the
it's
In-N-Out.
like sitting there doing that. And he's like, okay, well, I'll leave you. No, it's just, that's what I was saying. Shit like that we would do.
Yeah. Not for, like I said, I only did it like, I think maybe
Yeah.
4 times.
Yeah, I did it.
I know for sure
did it
3.
6 times. I was supposed to do it 7, and I got cut. And Dan Conley was the drum major at the time for the El Toro, and he was like, he said something, and he's like, how many of these you done? I told him, he's like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, don't have to tell me twice. I literally walked off the flight line, walked back, got my shit, got my truck, and I drove back to 29 Palms.
Nice.
Which I found out after the fact that that's not what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to stay there in case
help.
they needed me.
Hey, take advantage. That's all I got to say.
I drove my tail all the way back to 29 Palms. I was like, all right.
Nice.
I'm like, where the hell did McDanny go? I don't know.
You told him to
They
leave.
literally called the band hall, and it's like, McDanny there? Yeah. It's like, you told me I was cut. I didn't need to do it. Yeah, well, we kind of need somebody. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to make it there in time. They're like, never mind.
Like it. All right. Well, we're going to have to wrap this up and turn off the podcast here. But thanks, guys, for coming on and doing this. I appreciate you. To all the listeners out there, if you're struggling and need some help, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255 or go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. Remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. I know Vic and Mike care about you. The whole veteran community care about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies that you serve with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, guys, one last time. Thank you. Appreciate it. To all the listeners, stay motivated. Change your
Tavern,
socks.
birthplace of the Corps. We as Marines hold this history close to our hearts. Wouldn't it be spectacular if the establishment was born again? The Ton Legacy Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3, is taking the task and is looking to the Marines to once again save the day. Help the Lost Art podcast in raising funds to help get the Ton built once again only 100 yards from the original establishment in Philadelphia. We are looking for Marines to donate $25 representing the upcoming 250th birthday of the Corps. Spread the message and help establish the Ton, a place for Marine brethren to gather and remember our historic beginning. Go to the Lost Art GoFundMe page and donate today. The Ton Legacy Foundation, reestablishing our birthplace.